I think Nick said just to go live. We're live.
Yes, seems like we are live now.
Really?
Love this music.
Wow, I made it on time to our own webinar. It's great. It's a great start. Yeah, thanks for this music, Nick. Hey everyone, hey guys, if you're joining us now, a bit early, but if anyone is joining us, just let us know when you're joining from. Starting very soon. Oh, okay. It looks like we're not live. Done. Okay, but we're live, or are we?
We're live on here.
So we're live on here. That's okay. Cool.
Oh, we're live now.
Okay, we're live. Okay, this is like when we first started using, when to video. Crazy. Like it's like, can you hear me? So it's a bit early, but hey guys, if you're joining us now, I guess let us know where you're joining us from. We're going to be starting very soon. Very excited to talk about boosting morale, aren't we, John?
Yeah, 100% already. Good to go.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Well, we wait.
Let's see. John, it might just be me and you today.
That's fine.
Fine. Listen, we're going to nail
year one, day one.
Our own boosting morale situation.
Yep. What we've got on the screen now
is... So I'm just thinking we could get started. I mean, hey guys.
Yeah, let's get started on the games.
If you are joining us now, just let us know in the comments where you're joining from and we'll get started. So should we start with the game? Maybe we could just start with the game.
Yeah. 100%. I think what we'll do is we'll go through a couple of these games whilst we're waiting for people to join. Just some of our favorite office games as well. So comment what you think the answers are whilst we wait for some people to join. Heads up, Spina, they're not Commander Keen.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But
I've never actually played it, but I know you said it's pretty good.
Don't worry, I'm not going to comment, John.
No, not at all. So, I mean, I can't say anything. I'm still playing Elden Ring. Still very challenging. Music's pretty incredible. They've actually doing an Elden Ring music night at Royal Albert Hall in a couple of months' time. So,
that's cool. That's really cool.
And we have Jeff who joined us from San Fran, East Bay. Did you go to GDC, Jeff? Let us know. We went last year. We missed it this year, but I'm sure it was great. We've got the delightful Drew and Tom that have joined us as well. Oh, delightful Drew. Yeah.
Hey guys, we might bring you guys into the conversation once we get started.
100%. Sounds good. So, I mean, let's start off with the easy game whilst we're waiting for people to join. I've only actually ever won one of these games, and then I installed it because I never thought I would win another one. So, if you can guess what it is, comment down below.
Are there any prizes, John, or do we not get that far?
Yeah. We do a prize for anybody who gets all of them right. If you comment all the correct ones, we could do a voucher.
Yeah, cool.
So moving on to the second game. Fun fact, the team say I look like this person when I have a mustache.
Yes, definitely. November.
Yeah, around November time.
I can vouch for that.
Give you all some time to make a note of this. If you are just joining us, this is not a webinar about guessing games.
It's really not. We will
just waiting for people to join.
Yeah, we won't just be playing games, guys. We will talk about morale at some point. This is a good start, though.
So this is the next one. We got Dan and Paulo joined us. Paulo, I'm going to give the answers at the end. Jeff, you were at GDC all week. I heard it was better weather than last year.
Yeah, last year was
storms. In fact, fun fact, do you remember, Sabina, a couple of months ago, we actually went to Manchester and did a AR version go-karting of this game.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Mario Kart. Well, Chaos Kart. I think it was like a rip-off. I don't think Mario...
You've just told everybody the answer, but it's fine. It's okay. Just give you a freebie there. It's okay.
Damn it. We did talk about this earlier, how I wasn't allowed to share anything. Oh, dear.
And then this is the last one. I know Drew really struggled with this one earlier today. Hopefully he's been racking his brain, figuring out what this game is. It's all for you lockdown gamers out there. I've never played it myself, but I know Fiona is a big fan of the game.
Just mentioning the delays, John, getting into
it.
Yeah, we had something like that last year. Do you remember? It's a bit of a...
and then I was talking to Josh, the hiring manager at Obsidian Studios down in Irvine. And he mentioned that it took him, to get from Irvine to San Fran, it took him 14 hours, actually. So it was...
Yeah, I remember that. He was diverted. He was diverted twice, I think. Yeah.
So it looks like we've got a few people who've joined us now. So let's have a quick look at the answers. And I can see there's a couple of right answers there. So the first one was Super Mario Bros. Everyone's probably played that. And then Fortnite. Sorry, the first one was Fortnite. Second one was Super Mario. Third one was Mario Kart. And yeah, the last one was Animal Crossing, which was this one.
Tom's got it.
Yeah, Tom's got that.
Amazing.
Cool. So I'm going to hand over the mic to Spina now, get us all started for this webinar.
Yes.
Any questions, please comment below, and we'll try and answer as many as possible.
Thanks, John. So, yeah, I guess we can start with, just want to start by saying that no one is an expert in this topic. But we have experienced firsthand the importance of what it means to boost morale, team morale, and I guess the impact morale can have on teams, projects, individuals, and studios, I guess, in this case. If anything, this exercise for John and I has been quite a learning experience. It's an ongoing process, and whether you are from a large-scale global company or a 3-person team, we really hope that you can take away some helpful pointers from this talk today that will help you improve or change your immediate environment. So, so John and I are going to be talking at you for, I guess, the next hour, but please do comment. Please feel free to get involved, join the conversation. We are keeping an eye on the comments as well. So, ask as many questions as you need to. I would say before we start, we're just going to do a bit of an introduction for those who don't know us. So, John, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So, obviously, my name is John. I've been in recruitment for 10 years now. 8 of them working in gaming and tech. I help support and manage the teams here at 1111, but I also work directly with studio founders on a global scale, helping them with hiring, but also lots of conversations about company culture and morale that often come up. So I'm hoping I can impart some nuggets of information from game and tech studios that you can all use today. And I guess a little heads up, you are probably going to hear the word morale used quite a bit. Yeah. So at least it'll be embedded there for tomorrow when you guys are all meeting people.
Absolutely. I'll just give you a brief overview, just background on me as well. So I've worked in recruitment for around 15 years plus. I've worked across a number of different markets, including print solutions, before I actually transitioned into gaming, which is where we've been focused for the last 9 years. I work with hiring managers, leaders, HR teams, studio owners and directors, and also candidates, people who are looking for work. And I guess this is why we're talking about this topic today, from conversations with these groups of people. So yeah, I guess my experience lies in corporate organizations like the size of Xerox, Samsung, and then also, I've worked with many startups, very small companies, unstructured environments, in the gaming industry and tech space. I've directly mentored over the years, managed teams, officially, unofficially. So yeah, I would say that I've had my fair share of learnings around team morale. I've got it wrong many times, but sometimes we do our best to get it right as well. So yeah, I guess one of my takeaways from just the discussions we've been having around team morale, boosting morale, the link with productivity, and some of the challenges people are facing in the industry today. What John and I talked about was how morale and motivation strategies are not a one size fits all. So why are we talking about morale and boosting morale today? So, like I just said, there is a direct correlation between productivity and morale and well-being. So I guess it's in everyone's best interest to work on this. Many studies, research, we've been looking into this ourselves actually, and there's so many studies out there about how happy employees show, it was I think the one that we've shared here is 300% increase in just productivity. So yeah, I guess we started talking about this, and it all stemmed from one comment. I don't know if you remember, John, but we were on a call with, the delightful name from Notepad, who we've been working with, and I think he said everyone's miserable, and it really got us just thinking and curious. Given that John and I and our team work in the gaming market, so we're very aware of all these the challenges that the gaming industry is facing in the last 18 months. Layoffs, just setbacks, project setbacks, studio closures. Everyone's been impacted by this. So it got us thinking. We were curious about how are people coping with all the changes in the industry? How are people coping with the layoffs, redundancies? How are teams boosting morale and managing teams through these changes? I'm aware this isn't just a gaming industry issue as well. We do work with other partners in other industries, related industries, and it's kind of a global issue right now. So yeah, I think that's why I want to talk about this. We have been conducting research with our own candidates, clients, team. We've been talking about how we're feeling as a supplier and partner to the gaming industry, and talking to people every day, sharing their frustration. So yeah, we're not here to solve the issue. It's bigger than us, but we definitely just wanted to create a bit of a platform and, maybe talk about this a bit more. So I guess there's some external factors to consider as well. I know it's focused on gaming because we work in this space in the tech industry and all the changes that are impacting people in gaming. But there are other external factors that John and I kind of stumbled upon in some of our conversations.
Yeah, no, totally. Hope everyone appreciates the GIF as well. But why are people kind of a bit miserable at the moment? There's a multitude of factors. And some of the things that people have told us are kind of all here on the slides for you to see, which include the living costs everywhere around the world, global political issues, people feeling the pressure, specifically the uncertainty, which is leading to the pressure, which is never a great thing. Remote work changes, people going from in office to work from home, back to in office. It's kind of all uncertain changes that are happening right now. And project cancellations and setbacks are happening within the tech industry, but also happening within gaming. As we can see, just opening LinkedIn, I think for the last month or so, you open LinkedIn and it's not the greatest place to be right now, which is obviously an impact on confidence in the gaming and tech market because of redundancies over the last 18 months. There's probably a few more things there if I've missed any. please comment them in the comment section. And if you've had any experiences that are different to this, just let us know. So I guess overall, I mean, if your life looks something like this GIF, well, I mean, I guess we can take some comfort that we're all in this fire together, and we want to give you some tools to help team morale. So here are some key strategies that people keep mentioning to us. And there's some of the ones that we're going to cover off today. I mean, just to give us a quick overview, these are key factors that are impacting on morale, whether it's communication, change, lack of opportunities, work-life balance, and we'll sum it up with some examples of our own, but also examples from studios have given us also. So I guess Sabina can get us started on one of the most interesting ones is communication.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So like John said, these, I guess these are the kind of top factors or key factors that studios have raised with us, or teams or candidates or people we're speaking to. Poor communication keeps coming up, poor communication, miscommunication. This can lead to misunderstandings in the team, confusion, feelings of isolation, and just lots of uncertainty, I guess. And it's one that can be easily missed. You don't actively or consciously think about how you're communicating, if that makes sense sometimes, because you get used to communicating a certain way. But when you have to factor in you're working with lots of people, maybe they're remote, maybe you don't have a hybrid situation with them, you don't have those water cooler conversations. It's just being more conscious and aware of how you share information and what you share. I guess when I'm talking about communication here, we're probably linking it more to change and recent changes, which we will get onto as well. But some of the ways our studios and teams are countering this is by really simple. Again, it sounds super simple, but it's just working on communicating clearly, just effectively, really being conscious about how that communication or how they're speaking to the teams, I guess. And it avoids rumors, uncertainty. Some of our teams, hiring managers have mentioned having more regular one-to-ones, or if they want to talk about something that's, a recent layoff, or people are feeling worried or concerned about something, it's about facing the issue head on, getting together with the team, arranging a time to sit down and talk about it and address the issue. Again, this is, it may not apply to every situation and every scenario. But what we found, and it's something we do here at 1111 as well, is we're all about facing issues head on, discussing what we need to do, what are the next steps, what's happened, why did it happen, who needs to be involved, especially if it's a change in the business. And we found that that's really, I don't know what you think, John, but we found that over the years, it's really helped reduce that worry.
Totally.
Definitely. Just a bit more, more of an honest conversation, even if things are going wrong, even if you are the gift that John was talking about in the previous slide. I just think, it's almost that old adage of, problem shared is a problem halved. It's better to talk about these things. That's what we found, that's worked for sure. I guess it's worth noting that you want to do this in a way that doesn't cause unnecessary stress and panic or worry. So it's all about finding the balance. There's no need to overshare either. So again, I would just say this is all about, it all depends on the specific situation. And this, I'm just talking from personal experience as well. It's definitely helped with us. And there's, some other solutions and strategies we've shared here, but again, facing the issue head on is important. Clear, concise instructions, clear messaging, open door policies. And, even some of our clients are involved in feedback surveys. We have a client who uses, I think it's 15.5. It's a tool they use that surveys their team every Friday. It's just like some emojis, and you would just talk about, how your week was. How was your week? And you kind of just pick an emoji, like if you had a frustrating week or it was a great week. It just allows that, I guess, that communication, ongoing communication with your manager or team or leadership team. So you can address any issues. But yeah.
No, totally. I mean, that's what we're all about, is facing the issue head on. I mean, another aspect that we've got to take into account is how do we communicate as well, and having clear and concise instructions. And what we wanted to do today was share a quick 50-second clip, actually, from a noted speaker, because actually some of the hiring managers that have actually shared this with have benefited, and it's been something that they've been able to use for immediate change with their teams. And it's actually a clip of Ellie Middleton, who is a TEDx speaker and a top voice in neurodiversity and communication. This quick video shows how she actually likes to receive all instructions that are given to her. Not sure if the audio will work, but there are subtitles, and it's only 50 seconds. So I'll quickly play this.
I don't think there is audio.
Sorry. We will be sending this out to everybody to read.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll send that out for everybody to recap. And in fact, we'll actually put a link to the extended seminar. But she mentioned there using clear, concise instructions, so people are not expected to read between the lines, which often leads to interpreting things differently. It's important to understand that this applies to both neurodiverse, but also neurotypical people as well. In fact, the next bit down is something that I was actually really guilty of when I first started trying to lead people. It means, Sabina, you can tell everyone a little bit more about it and how I tackled my own communication skill and style.
Oh gosh, yeah, totally forgot about this. Sorry. Yeah, it's so John and I have worked together for a number of years now. So once you've worked with somebody for a while, you're kind of used to how they communicate and how they work. So John would, just randomly, if he slapped me or messaged me, can we talk? I wouldn't think anything of this. However, when we had new team members join the business, can we talk message can be absolutely terrifying, and it would cause blind panic. Do you remember, John? Like, people would just stress and start messaging people, have I done something wrong? Did I miss something? And we're like, no, everything's good, everything's fine. It was like a really small, minor change. But from John to go from, hey, can we talk, to just adding what the topic was. So, hey, can we talk about this project? Or, hey, can we talk about, do you remember, John, it was like about lunch one time, but you caused...
Yeah, it was the smallest thing ever. And just...
Yeah, it's like, I just want to know where you're going for lunch. But, so, yeah, it's really small things like that, I think, that can make, everyone dreads the can we talk message.
So I no longer do that.
No, John does not do
it was
that.
a quick, it's something that once it's pointed out to you, it seems really obvious. But when you're doing it, you don't really think about it. I mean, communication, I guess, overall, is something that myself will always be working on. I think nobody will ever get it perfect. In fact, we could probably talk about this all day. It's a real game changer.
Don't worry, we'll do another webinar on just communication.
Do another one just for communication. I mean, some of the other things that we've got on here, obviously regular communication, lots of touch points. It doesn't have to be formal. It could literally just be talking to somebody driving on the way into work. I mean, I know I do that with Dan on a regular basis. It's having an open door policy as well. So I know Nick, for example, whilst working with us, really benefits from, she knows we're in lots of meetings, but she knows that she can message us when we're in those meetings and we'll get back to her when we can. Or if it's just a quick message, it's having that door open is also really great. And I guess something that we probably need to do a little bit more of, Sabina, is like these anonymous feedback surveys about how things are going, how the changes are going, what people are enjoying, what they're not enjoying. Just that constant communication.
Feedback.
Really great.
I think feedback is really important, and I think feedback goes both ways. So whether you're a team member, a colleague, or leading that team or leading that business, and it can be quite scary actually, and quite daunting to, and vulnerable to request feedback or have people share that feedback. But yeah, it can definitely lead to growth opportunities for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, kind of segues us into the next slide about change.
Yes.
And communication, and everything that we do with change really is all about how we communicate it to each other. I guess when we're talking about change, it's important to understand that people inherently are opposed change, especially change that isn't communicated effectively and it's quite unfamiliar to them. I mean, you've only got to look at the gaming industry and how some studios out there have moved from work from home policy back to an in-house policy, and the ineffective communication and what that caused. I mean, from a recruitment perspective, I remember those weeks where that happened and everybody was calling us and contacting us and emailing us about new opportunities. And it kind of caused unrest and disruption in their lives. It caused a lot of uncertainty. If people struggled with their productivity and timelines on the project because of that miscommunication due to that change. So it really needs to be handled in an effective way. I mean, it's too obvious for me and Sabina to come on and say change happens because of communication. It's like, yeah, it's pretty obvious, but there's also some extras that we can take into account, and it's little bits that we've learned from. So when managing change, it's important to anticipate change and anticipate resistance to change as well. And that's the same way that everybody deals and communicates in a different way. Everybody takes change in a different way. And you can do this in a variety of ways where you involve the team and communicate clearly with them, but you also celebrate progress along the way. I mean, remember, Sabina, when we tried to do some changes regarding the way that we send CVs out, and Drew did not like that change.
Yeah, I mean, look, change is inevitable.
Yeah.
In all aspects of life. We're not just talking professionally, but obviously here for the purpose of this topic, what we're saying is that change causes lots of changes not managed effectively causes low morale. I guess that's the brunt of our message here with change. And I do remember that. So I love to change things, as John knows. However, sometimes, and this is a personal experience, I can sometimes I'm not effective at sharing context around the change. It's Drew's commenting. Thanks, Drew. One small example is we were changing a process. I thought this is brilliant, improves our workflow, it'll be great for the team. So we should do this. However, I didn't share the context around the change, like why we were doing it, why it would benefit the team member, how it would improve the workflow, how it would improve their process. So we did face some resistance. But once we sat down and just walked through this and the team members, I learned more from this than the colleague did in this case. And I think John, both of us were like, oh, okay, we can change things. There's nothing wrong with that. Like we said, change is inevitable, but let's think about how we approach it, how you involve the team. Is this the right way to do it? Engage them, get people involved. And then, and again, this is so situational. Like this could be a really small thing, or it could be a huge thing, like the restructures, layoffs. Like, we're talking to hiring managers who are really struggling to talk about, how the layoffs and restructuring, how that impacts people who are still in the business. I guess what we've learned from this is don't just implement a process, or don't just make a change without sharing context or anticipating some resistance. There's just ways to manage it.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, like even highlighting what Andy's just messaged there in the comments, like celebrating is such an underused incentive within teams.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And change inevitable. Yeah, totally agree with that. But it's also understanding that it's not on Drew, for example. It's probably more on us to implement change in a way that is conducive to change itself.
So sorry, Drew. Sorry about that.
This is our apology.
Your apology. Yeah. We'll do better next time.
Yeah, I guess it's all the way, like I mentioned, it's the same way that people communicate differently, people deal with change differently. Sabina, like you mentioned, loves change. And I think maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I probably didn't like change as much. Now I open it with welcome arms.
It's unavoidable, John. It's unavoidable.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, talking about that, there's obviously another aspect, which is all about creating opportunity. Sabina does this for everybody at 1111. So let's.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. So I think this is a great kickoff point for you to start with, for sure.
Yeah, I guess this is something again, look, everything we're talking about here, guys, it's all from conversations we're having. So we're not making this up, I promise. We're speaking to hiring managers, we're speaking to leadership teams, HR directors, candidates looking for work, candidates leaving companies as well. So how does this link opportunity? How does this link to low morale and feelings of low morale in a team? This is actually a huge challenge, I would say, for some of our clients. Not everyone, but some of our younger businesses, smaller teams, flat structure. I mean, actually, having said that, it can apply to the larger companies as well who work in tribes, perhaps, or they don't know how to create opportunities because they're not in their the part of their growth plan. They're not there yet, but the team member is. And it's how do you connect these things? How do you grow with the company? And how do you create opportunity for professional and personal development opportunities for people who are maybe growing faster than the company? So again, we don't have all the answers, but what we keep hearing is that there are other ways to do this. It's not always about the most obvious trajectory. It's not always about promoting. It's not always, and I think when I spoke to a mentor back in the day, and I remember they mentioned to me that, everyone thinks that opportunity is, I want to be a manager. Everyone wants to move up the ladder. That's not for everyone, actually. What you find is, if you have an open, honest conversation, what most people want might be very different. It might be, actually, I just want to learn more. I want to implement some cross-training. I want to do some skills workshops. It's not always the case that it's about promotions, creating, more layers to the business. But what I would say is, from working in recruitment and placing candidates for many, many years now, when growth opportunities are scarce, whether it is a clear, defined career plan, we've experienced this ourselves in the past, or recognition of, some training or other things that you can do to help develop somebody. People do leave those businesses eventually, and they'll go somewhere where someone can create those growth opportunities. At the moment, the current climate, I would say the people where we are personally working with, John, I don't know what you think, but our hiring managers and studios and partners have actually said this has taken a bit of a backseat, given, everything that's going on in the gaming and tech industry right now. Some people are in just survival mode. So creating opportunities has become a bit of a background conversation. But what I would say, we still need to talk about this. We still need to be connecting with people. And it's really important that we're engaging with the team to make sure that they don't just disappear into the night. Andy, just having a look at what Andy's at. Yeah, I agree, Andy. We do have different change cycles. And yeah, I guess your point there is, it's how do you tie that in with someone's personal development as well? How do you create opportunities? How do you change things? So it's just helping those align, I guess, is what we found.
There's a couple of examples, don't we?
We do. Oh, sorry. Do you mean in terms of how we've created opportunity? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was going to say, especially when you're a small company. So the kind of things when it comes to someone's personal development, I mean, we've had team members here where we've supported them with a sabbatical, for example, an opportunity to recharge and invest in your own personal development. It doesn't always have to be linked to the company. And I think when you're a small business, actually, that can be quite scary, just being really honest here. It's quite a scary thought. But I think you have to create those opportunities. And you have to allow people to evolve, and whether that means that they go on somewhere else and then utilize that, it doesn't really matter. You know, you've supported somebody. We have a team member here who is, you know, joined the business but has always talked openly about moving to America, working out in America and experiencing that. That's something we would support, whether it's through us or it's something we can do to connect them to the right person or company. We had a colleague recently taking a career break. He's gone out to Australia. You know, we've left the door open. These are just small things, I guess, that we've done that have just to show that we are creating opportunities that are maybe not always linked to just professional development. So yeah. Yes, Andy, that's a really good point. Like I agree with you. There's so many studios that are still out there providing opportunities. Some of them are taking a bit of a backseat given everything that's going on. But yeah, it's a shame that some of them are deferring them, but we also understand that this is, again, it's situational. But it would be nice to have at least have those opportunities to have those conversations about someone's development, you know, even if it is paused, even if it's not something immediate, it has been deferred. I think it goes back to what we said earlier. It's about communicating it and having those conversations.
Even those conversations about like, where are you going to be? Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? Like, I'm pretty sure, well, fingers crossed, we're not going to have 5 years of this. Like, no, it's kind of like, what is next? Like when things go back to the norm, I guess. But I mean, it is a good time to recognize like born leaders or people with leadership skills. And I guess with this recognition comes personal improvement and motivation, because I mean, this is Nick's quote, not mine. Kindness is contagious, which is definitely true. I mean, talking about leaders kind of segues us into the next section, because I mean, we all know people don't leave teams, they leave managers. I mean, it's one of the top reasons we find candidates are leaving jobs is kind of leadership styles more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. So this is slightly controversial. Well, not controversial. It's probably the wrong thing to say. But I mean, I guess it's just about holding a mirror up to yourself sometimes. And some managers and some companies we've spoken to and some people who leave, people who've maybe left us in the past, you know, it's not we're not perfect. So it's all about just acknowledging that your leadership style can actually impact someone's morale or a team's, you know, the way a team feels. And I know that some managers that we work with have been on leadership programs, you know, that really supports them with this. And we're not judging anyone here. We're just saying this can be down to an experience or lack of training or support, but it is cited as one of the most common reasons for people leaving jobs. So yeah, I guess some of the issues that, you know, candidates talk to us about openly about is, you know, feeling micromanaged or lack of feedback from a manager or team member, or just, you know, not feeling inspired at the moment. And as a result of that, some of the solutions and some strategies that studios have put in place is, like we said, you know, going through leadership programs, manager training, looking at emotional intelligence training, providing feedback. But ultimately what we're saying is just sometimes it's about looking at yourself and thinking about what can I do in this scenario and how can I impact my team. So yeah, I guess we just wanted to share that as well, because it does come up actually as a really common reason for people feeling just, you know, general low morale or, you know, moving on from companies. Yeah, Andy. So that's a really good point, actually, that Andy's just mentioned, John.
How putting those solutions in place often helps you attract and retain talent. It's often cheaper to put them in place than skip them. these are conversations that we're having all the time about retention. It's kind of an inevitable cycle, but if we can put these things in place, and if we can help studios put them in place, which we have done on numerous occasions, it reduces the need to continuously find new people, because the best people are in jobs and they are happy in roles, and it's just making sure that they're happy and they're well taken care of. I mean, one of the contributing factors of all of this is exactly what we've got here. I mean, I don't know if we have any Swifties here today. But, I mean, if you are, then you kind of know, and you need to remember that sometimes you are the problem. I mean, Sabina mentioned there about holding up the mirror, because leaders often impact everyday work life, and company culture is a big part of this. I mean, it's one of the main contributing key factors to low morale, and it leads us into our factors around work life and company culture. So why is work life and company culture a big factor to morale? I mean, it's all of these are important, but this is probably has one of the biggest impacts, and it's often a key reason for lack of morale and disengagement in the workplace. I mean, having a bad work life, or not enjoying your company culture, or bad kind of engagement, it leads to stress, exhaustion, and disinterest, really. I mean, there are often factors that affect this, such as like strict schedules, long hours, heavy workloads, unrealistic demands. I mean, this all has a negative effect on productivity and morale. I mean, Sabina, how do companies go about improving their work-life balance?
So this is a really tough one, because most people we speak to, and just from personal experience, I sometimes think this is almost unachievable. I've shifted away from this many years ago, and I've talked to lots of people around this and how do they feel about it. But I just think it's almost like a dream. You know, you can't find that balance. I think what I found, which is more effective, and other people I've spoken to, is really compartmentalizing and establishing boundaries and focus on harmony rather than the work-life balance. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, we've talked about this, John, and it's like, you know, we were terrible at this. Do you remember? Like, so not for some of the team who have joined us today. Hopefully, we've got a bit better at this. But when John and I first started out, we would, you know, just message all day. Do you remember 24/7, John? We were available. And when you're a startup and you're a small team as well, and you've got like one more person joins you, and you think it's okay to just continue that, we learned very quickly actually it's not. And just because we work that way, or you know, we chose to continue that for some time, which we've stopped now. We do have boundaries. We just found small ways of tweaking that. But what I would say is having excellent time management, compartmentalizing, not overlapping. When you're in work, you're in work, and when you're personal situation, you're personal. You're not kind of, you know, they're not crossing. I do think that helps, is what I found. I found personally, for me, that's a balance.
I mean, we talked a little bit about being available.
Yes.
We are available, but it's also setting boundaries for ourselves in terms of the team is super important. So, for example, we need to like encourage breaks with the team, like to reduce their stress and their burnout. I mean, it's some of the things that we've done and that we've implemented are specifically around like we used to contact people not on a regular basis, but if it was we needed to help a candidate secure a position and somebody went away, we would maybe drop them a message. Whereas now we're really good at setting up handovers in order so that we don't have to do that, because that person's obviously worked really hard to have that time off. They don't need me and Sabina pestering them. So we have those things in place. Yeah. We don't message people after a set time. We set, even though we're working late, sometimes we're not setting the culture for that. It's just that's when we have that time available to do it, which means that if we're going to email you at night, you might think that you have to reply at that time. So what we do is we set our messages to go out in the morning, because they don't have to be actioned when we're sending them out. So it's all these little things that we're doing that improve work-life harmony and our own company culture as well. But instead of breaking down what makes the perfect culture, that's, first of all, there is probably no perfect culture. Every culture is different. But it's also a huge topic. One of the things that we thought we'd discuss with you guys today are some examples of what companies have implemented. So one of the studios is Playtonic, who you guys might have heard of. They're based in the UK, and they've actually implemented unlimited life leave policy. I had no clue what this was, so let me explain it. So this policy actually aims to assist their employees when life events happen, so they don't feel the need to dip into their annual or sick leave. It covers events like operations, non-cosmetic medical treatments, counseling, graduations, fertility appointments, and a lot more. It's all covered by their unlimited life leave policy. Additionally, they also accommodate working from home for menstrual-related challenges, and they offer paid sabbatical every 5 years. Sounds pretty great to me. But this supporting approach is available to all from day one, because something that they have, which is really interesting, is they don't have any probationary periods, actually. So when you start, you're not on a probation period. It really highlights their focus on work-life harmony. Now, we obviously appreciate this probably isn't for everybody, and it might not suit all companies, but it's just a few things that we thought we would share with you about how this studio, you might want to take some of these things on board and see if they work for you. But talking about another studio across the pond that we work with, which is Obsidian, and we've partnered with them for the last 5, maybe 6 years now, are based out of Irvine, and they're really well known for their leading kind of RPG-based games. Inadvertently, they've created social gaming nights that are focused around D&D. Firstly, because they all love playing D&D, but this social activity, either online or in person, does help with communication and team bonding. It combines what they love with the people that they work on a daily basis. So talking to a lot of people, I mean, it really sets them apart. And what that is it's making time for each other and team social activities and getting to know them through these activities.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, excuse me, it's not for everyone. It might not suit everyone's environment, but, you know, I guess we are speaking to companies more and more who are speaking to the team about what's important to them.
Yeah.
And implementing these kind of changes, I guess. But yeah, cool.
So I guess one of the last examples is one of our own, which we've had for a few years now, actually. And we've had it, originally we implemented it because of COVID, but we continue to use it to this day. And actually on Slack, we actually have our group Kudos channel. So we use this to shout out small wins and encourage the team to do the same for colleagues. It's actually one of the most used channels in our Slack and really helps boost team togetherness and morale, as we all want to see each other doing well. It's something that we all use, isn't it, Sabina?
Yeah, we do actually. And I do think, especially in these last 18 months, you know, where everyone has found it really challenging, you know, like we said, with all the negativity on LinkedIn as well, it's just a place where we can go and just celebrate small wins. It's every day. It's not the big goals or the big vision. Sometimes it's all about having a great Monday and a great Tuesday, and it becomes a great week, and a great week becomes a great month. Like we do really try and emphasize that. So it does help.
So I guess to recap, boosting morale obviously is very fundamental for leaders in order to keep a healthy team dynamic and a productive work environment. So being aware and recapping on the pointers that we've discussed will have a great impact on your team morale. I guess a quick TLDR for those people who've joined us a little late. Obviously, we're going to send everything out to people who've joined and anyone that's asked for it. But some of the things that we've discussed today are communication styles, how we manage change in process or external change, creating opportunities for people. It doesn't just have to be promotions. Work-life harmony over work-life balance in that conversation, but also holding up the mirror and your own leadership style. Looking introspectively about how you can bring people together by your own actions, and analyzing some of the examples you just spoke about, like Playtonic, Obsidian, or our own Kudos channel. So we're going to open this session up to Q&A. So anything you'd like us to cover off in more detail, please let us know. If you have any examples you want to share of your own experience that have lifted the team during challenging times, please.
There's a comment from Andy. Really like that, Andy. Yep. Gratitude builds gratitude.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Definitely. And there's a comment there by Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he worked at a company in London who had an internal leadership development program. That sounds pretty great. Not only to train up new managers on learning skills and models, but also to unify the message and consistency of their middle management approach.
That's really interesting. Yeah, definitely. I think it's just about, like you said, having something in place where something you can lean on. Obviously, again, it depends on the size of the organization. If you've got quite a small team, it's a startup, you might have to think very differently about how you upskill people through the business. But that's a great idea, Jeff. And I do think some of the companies we've worked with, they've been very keen on pushing leadership development programs, and emotional intelligence has been a big part of that as well, which I thought was really interesting. And NLP, that's the kind of direction they've been going in. Brilliant. Okay, well, we don't want to bore everyone mentioning morale, but please do ask any questions you might have. Hopefully you found this interesting. I hope we've inspired you to just think about your team morale, think about how you can, thinking about boosting team morale can help you achieve your commercial goals by just, I guess, helping your team feel supported, engaged, especially, given the current climate.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've got a free resource that we're going to be giving out. So we'll send it to everybody on here, but also comment with a rocket emoji if you want to receive it as well. I've seen Andy's left another message. If anyone wants to workshop for smaller studios or leadership programs, hit him up, definitely. Also, game studio training.
That's amazing. Thanks, Andy. Oh, I love that it's NLP based as well. So this is coming up more and more with people we're speaking to. So, some of the training programs are going in that direction, which I think is really exciting. So yeah, thank you, Andy. That's we'll definitely connect with you and follow up with you on that. I do think lots of our studio partners would be interested in something like this. Amazing. Well, cool. Thank you, everyone. We've learned a lot. I hope you have as well. Thank you for joining us. We've got a couple of questions to follow up. So we will do that after this, after we kind of sign off. But thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, we all hope that your morale is at an all-time high because of this webinar. Hopefully, it's inspired you to think about your team and your team morale and how you can achieve your commercial goals by helping your team to feel supported and engaged. And I guess, like Sabina said, it's been a great exercise for us. I know I've learned a lot by going through all of this as well. And until next time.
Thank you. And thanks, Andy. We'll definitely follow up. Jeff and everyone else who's commented, we will connect with you and let's chat.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.